Every day, when the final school bell rings, a wave of relief should wash over our students. They should step into the fresh air feeling free, empowered, ready to go home to their families, hobbies, and dreams. But for some girls in that schoolyard, that bell did not signal freedom. Instead, it signaled fear. It marked the beginning of their daily humiliation, their silent suffering, their walk into a nightmare. Bullies waited for them, predators hiding in plain sight, ready to tear down their confidence one insult, one shove, one cruel laugh at a time. Imagine the weight of that fear. Imagine being so anxious that your hands tremble while packing your bag. Imagine counting every slow step from the school gates to the corner, knowing what will happen next. Those girls had to endure what no child ever should. The sense that they were powerless, that their voices did not matter, and that no one would stand up for them. But I am here to say something loud and clear: their voices do matter. And their pain, their story, must be told. These bullies did not appear overnight. They were created through negligence, through a culture where cruelty is often encouraged, where mocking someone is seen as entertainment, and where the strong prey on the different, on the meek, and on those who dare to be themselves. The bullies targeted these girls because they thought they were easy. They saw their quiet demeanor, their clean uniforms, the way they stood close together like sisters. They mistook kindness for weakness. They believed fear would silence the victims forever. And every day, those bullies shoved them, spit hateful words, grabbed their bags, ripped their books, laughed at their tears. Every day, they chipped away at these girls' belief that the world could be good. Every day, these girls walked home feeling smaller than the day before. Do you know what that kind of harassment is to a heart? To a mind still learning its place in the world. It makes a child question her worth. It fills her with shame that doesn't even belong to her. It tells her she doesn't deserve respect, that she is alone, that she must hide who she is to survive. But here is what the bullies never understood. The human spirit, especially the spirit of a young girl fighting to protect her dignity, is far stronger than cruelty. The girls endured. They supported one another. They whispered courage into each other's ears. And though they cried silently, they never stopped believing that one day, someone would see their pain, someone would fight back. Every community has two kinds of people: those who stand by in silence and those who stand up in defense of what is right. For too long, the bystanders looked away. They let fear convince them that it wasn't their problem. They assumed someone else would stop the cruelty. And each time they turned their heads, bullies grew braver. But everything changed the day the world finally noticed. The day men with heavy boots and roaring engines appeared, not to cause fear, but to teach a lesson that would never be forgotten. These men were not dressed in suits. They did not speak with polished diplomacy. They were rough, fearless, united, a wall of strength forming in front of these girls. They were bikers, members of a brotherhood known for power, loyalty, and justice in their own way. Society judged them by their leather vests and tattoos, yet in this moment, they were protectors, guardians of the innocent. They arrived not with threats but with presence, overwhelming, undeniable presence. They stood eye to eye with the bullies who once believed they owned the street. And for the first time, the bullies felt the rush of fear they had so proudly inflicted on others. The silence that followed was deafening. The bikers didn't need violence. They didn't need to lay a single hand on anyone. They just stood strong, like an immovable shield, and spoke for the girls who had been silenced for too long. They demanded respect. They demanded accountability. They demanded a stop to the daily torment. And in that confrontation, the truth was laid bare: bullies crumble when the odds are no longer in their favor. Those girls saw something powerful that day. They saw that they were worth protecting. They saw that courage doesn't always come from inside, sometimes it comes from those willing to stand beside you. But make no mistake, the real power was not in the bikers' fists or their size. It was in their understanding that no child deserves to walk alone in fear. It was in the idea that when community steps up, cruelty steps back. The bullies' reign ended that day. And those schoolgirls, for the first time in months, lifted their heads high. They walked home with pride instead of dread. They understood that strength comes in many forms: in resilience, in unity, in refusing to let the darkness win. This story should remind us all of something essential: violence and harassment do not thrive in the presence of courage. Bullies depend on silence. They feed on the belief that no one will intervene. Strip them of that illusion, and they lose their power instantly. So what must we do now? We must become the defenders. We must become the ones who refuse to look away. It doesn't take leather jackets and roaring motorcycles, it takes heart. It takes action. It takes a voice willing to speak up when someone whispers, "Help." We must teach our children that kindness is strength, that empathy is courage, and that no human being deserves humiliation. We must build a culture where mocking someone is seen as cowardly, not cool. Where protecting the weak becomes a badge of honor. Every adult, teacher, parent, neighbor, must hold responsibility. Every student must know that they have a duty to their classmates. If someone is being bullied, you do not stand silent. You step forward. You become their voice until they find their own. Let the world understand this. The strength of a community is not measured by the power of its leaders, but by its willingness to protect its most vulnerable. Today, those schoolgirls smile a little brighter. They walk a little taller. The wounds on their hearts are healing. But we cannot forget that there are countless others still suffering in silence. Countless others who pray each day for someone to notice, someone to care, someone to fight for them. We cannot wait for bikers every time harm appears. We must be the solution. Let the story of these girls fuel a movement. Let their transformation from victims to survivors become a beacon for all who endure the same pain. Stand up. Speak out. Refuse to let bullying become normal. Refuse to let fear control who gets to feel safe. Every child deserves peace. Every child deserves respect. And every bully deserves to know that their cruelty will never go unchallenged again. So here is the message to every bully out there. Your power ends the moment someone chooses to stand up. Your laughter dies the moment courage arrives. And your cruelty has no future in a world that protects its children. And here is the message to every girl who has ever been harassed, mocked, or hurt. You are not weak. You are not alone. You are not defined by what was done to you. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Your future is brighter than you can yet imagine. To everyone listening today, remember this truth. Kindness isn't a weakness, it's the greatest form of strength humans can show. And when we protect those who cannot protect themselves, we rise to our highest purpose. Let us be that strength. Let us be that shield. Let us be the reason a child walks home smiling instead of crying. The reason hope returns to hearts that have been battered by cruelty.